Hello everybody, this is Scotty, one of your hosts of the Diving Deep podcast, and before we get started with today's episode, you might be listening to this, and after hearing the previous episode, thinking, how is this out? Because in our episode for Zack Snyder's Justice League, myself and Jon discussed how we lost the audio for this episode. Jon's mic was being not good, but I was able to sort it out by increasing his volume by around 1,600%. 1,600. So here it is. If you have issues with Jon's audio, I'm sorry. I adjusted it as much as I could, but I can't really do a ton else. So enjoy what... Hello, listeners from close and far. I am Scotty, one of your hosts of the Diving Deep podcast, and I'm here today once again with Jon. Jon, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Scotty. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It was a good week, but a sad one because first week without WandaVision.
It was sad.
My heart was broken.
It was.
It was rough not having something to wake up to at 3 a.m. to watch. You know? Pretty heartbreaking. But unfortunately, that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Jon, what do you think of this movie?
Well, I'm looking at the critic scores of it. 6 out of 10 on IMDb, 42 Rotten Tomatoes, and 48 Metacritic. But 90% of Google users like this movie. So, to sum it up, I would give it, I guess, for the monster fighting part, that was pretty cool. But for not the monster fighting part, that was pretty not cool.
It really wasn't.
And yeah, that's
what would you give this movie, like, out of 10?
Okay, so I don't want to give it a 50, because I don't think it's below 50 because of the action. The action really, sells this movie more than its character plot things. But the characters really, bog it down. So I'll give it a 65 or 75.
65
like
out of 100?
Yeah.
That is so much higher than what I was going to give it. I do not like this movie. I watched it for the first time back in January, and I thought, yeah, this is okay. But upon rewatching it this afternoon, this was one of the roughest watches for a movie I have ever had to get through. No from me. I give this a 39 out of 100.
Yeah. I can
Not
see that.
a fan. I hate all the human characters. None of their motivations make sense. And they're all incredibly generic. I talked about how generic the characters were in Godzilla 2014. Take that level of generic and multiply it by 5. And you have every character in this movie. And the monster stuff was cool. But at times it felt way over the top. And, they just decimate all of Boston and Washington, D.C. in the final act.
Yeah.
And I just didn't care. I don't know. You continue to give your thoughts. I think what I have said is enough for now.
Yeah, it kind of felt like the Man of Steel movie after they decimated that entire place. And you didn't really care that they decimated the entire place. It was just like they fought, I guess. I don't know.
But the thing is, Man of Steel has such higher stakes than this does.
Oh, yeah.
With, the personal Kal-El versus Zod, I forget his Kryptonian name or whatever. And then it dives into the consequences of what happened in the final act of that in Batman vs. Superman. We don't get any of that in this. They just go on a crusade of wrecking everything in their path, and no one cares. Godzilla probably killed thousands of people in this movie. In Boston alone, not including everything else that all the other monsters did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really just was not a fan of this movie.
Yeah, it was hard to watch at a lot of times. especially dialogue. Especially the dialogue.
The screenplay for this, not good. This movie makes me so scared for Godzilla vs. Kong. The past 2 weeks, we've been hyping up this movie so much, like it's going to be the greatest thing on planet Earth. But then we watch this movie, and my hype it's out the window. I don't care about Godzilla vs. Kong as much as I did 2 weeks ago or last week.
Yeah.
Because of how god-awful this movie was.
Didn't they say that they weren't going to do a lot of the, human things next movie? Or...
But they did say that, but I don't know if I trust them. Because you could technically say there was not a lot of human stuff in this movie. Well, no, there was a lot. And there's no way of getting around saying there was a lot. Because even though all the stuff revolves around the monsters, they tell it, through the humans. And in my opinion, they just completely failed that. I don't even know what else to say about this movie. I need to start, taking notes when I watch things for this podcast, so we don't have these, lulls where no one knows what to say.
Bobby Brown was in this movie.
Couldn't care less about her character. I'll tell you right now.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't even know... Is she going to be in Godzilla vs. Kong?
I think she was in the trailer, but I don't know if she'll have, a significant part in it.
The only character I cared about was Ken Watanabe's character.
Oh, yeah.
But he dies. And the only reason I cared about him is because we already knew who he was from the first Godzilla movie. But no, he's dead. I will say that is probably my favorite scene in the movie, where he dies and, frees Godzilla.
Oh, yeah, the nuclear bomb thing that he brings down there.
I really like that. But it's a sweet farewell to his character. And I think I would care about the human stuff in this movie if they focused more on him instead of the dysfunctional family. I think he should be the bridge from the humans to the monsters, because you can tell how much he cares about Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
And his thoughts on how Godzilla is the beast who will not set the planet free, but the mediating force. When things get out of hand, he's the one to change that, and I really like that. But let's talk about the family who... They're all terrible people.
Yeah. I like that. Father, not cool. Mother, no one cares. Daughter, I don't care.
I couldn't tell you a single name of any character in this movie. I really couldn't.
I know her name's Millie Bobby.
Yeah, I know the actors' names. And this movie has a pretty good cast. But the cast was completely wasted.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
Not cool, Godzilla. Not cool at all.
Yeah, they had some real big names on here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all gone. All gone. Thanks to them.
Thanks to them. For a while, I wasn't excited for Godzilla vs. Kong in the slightest. Or I'd seen people hyping up online, and this was before I had seen any of the movies in the MonsterVerse. And I didn't care, because everyone I knew who had seen King of the Monsters and had talked about it only had negative things to say. So I'm I'm sure Godzilla vs. Kong is going to be a flop, just like King of the Monsters. I am still excited for Godzilla vs. Kong. I am significantly less excited, though, coming off of this movie. But I'm going to try and see past that and think about the big monkey who's going to knock the dinosaur lizard into the ground.
Amen. Some critics are calling the movie overly long. Do you agree?
I would agree with that.
I 100% agree with that.
They could have cut out nearly 20 minutes of this movie, I think.
All parts where people talk.
Mm-hmm. There's way too much focus on the humans. In a movie called King of the Monsters, I care about the monsters. I don't care about the humans. And it's that simple. And I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that.
Yeah, I agree. So some loyal Godzilla fans have also said that they were making good steps, towards Godzilla, but this has now ruined Godzilla for them. Apparently.
Rough. That is rough.
Commissar Garuda. I feel bad for him.
Where are you viewing this, may I ask?
Oh, I clicked the review buttons on the Google tab, and I'm seeing, like, everyone's review ever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even want to talk about this movie anymore. I really don't. Do you have any significant things to say about it?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing.
Not a fan. And I wish I could say I was a fan of this movie. I do know there are a lot of people that do like this movie, and I'm happy for them, but they're just not it for me. I didn't care about the characters. The action had no substance to it. It was just big boom, nuclear breath, dragon grows head.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't care for it. But I'm glad there are people who like this movie, and I assume those people are the people on Team Godzilla. But we are Team Monkey.
We're Team Monkey here, people. We can't. They should have made a King Kong, too. Instead of going right into this Godzilla thing, they could have easily made a great... Actually, it wouldn't have worked with the story well, but... Or the story that they have now, but they could have made King Kong dose.
I agree. I think they should have made a Kong 2, and that should have been what's coming out around now. Like a Kong movie set in the current day. And then we can move into Godzilla vs. Kong. It's kind of like how the DCEU messed up. Now, I actually like the DCEU. I know lots of people say they hate it. I like Man of Steel. I don't hate Batman vs. Superman, and I haven't even seen the Ultimate Edition, which I hear is like 10 steps better.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, I like those two movies. But we should have had a Batman movie before we got BVS. And we should have had Wonder Woman, The Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg, or at least two of those movies before Justice League. Because the only characters we knew were Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. They had to introduce 3 new characters of Justice League. And from what I'm hearing, people have seen the movie. Zack Snyder's Justice League does a very good job at introducing these characters. And from what I'm hearing, it's the best DCEU movie. I've seen several people say this already. I could not be more excited. We have 5 days to go.
So exciting.
I'm so excited to watch this 4-hour spectacular.
I've only sat down for 4 hours one time, and that was watching the Two Towers Lord of the Rings movie extended edition, or theatrical edition. I think that's what it's... No, director's... I don't know.
Extended edition.
But that was a masterpiece and a half.
I have not ever seen the extended editions for any Lord of the Rings movie. And I want to, because they actually added Return of the King extended edition to HBO Max like 2 weeks ago. So finally they're starting to bring those on. Because from what I've heard, again, haven't seen them, they're the definitive way to watch the movies.
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't seen them. And I love the theatrical editions, though. So I want to watch them. Now, do you think I could watch the extended edition of Return of the King after watching the theatricals for Fellowship and Two Towers? Or would I have to watch extended?
I mean, it really depends. All the extended versions do is add more character depth. I mean, it doesn't add too much more, really. I mean, there are some scenes, I'm pretty sure, like how Sauron dies. That's one of the scenes. And there were a couple others that I can't remember. It just, like, it feels better watching that movie than the other one, but, like, not saying the other one's bad by any means.
Yeah, I remember I watched the theatricals for the first time in September 2019, and I thought Sauron was an excellent character. Christopher Lee, right? That's the actor. I thought he did a tremendous job, and I was super intrigued by the character. But he's just not there in the theatrical edition of Return of the King. He does not show up once.
Mm-hmm.
But then I look up, he's in the extended edition, and we see him die. And I'm like, oh. I feel that's such a crucial moment to the movie that why would they keep that out?
Yeah, it is.
But it's Warner Brothers. That's what they do since the beginning of time. They are known for micromanaging every single detail of all their movies that they make. You know, that's why we're getting the Snyder Cut. That's why people hate Batman vs Superman, because they've never seen the Ultimate Edition. You know?
Yeah.
I really am not a fan of a lot of stuff Warner Brothers does.
I think the reason I did not like the Batman from Batman vs Superman is because he didn't get his own movie. I didn't get time to like him, you know? Like,
agreed. I think Ben Affleck's Batman movie should have been before BVS. 100%.
To, like, you know, give me something to like him for before. Because, like, when he goes into that movie, he just, like, bullies around Superman a lot. And it just feels very distasteful. But at the same time, I like his Batman a lot. Like, it's just great. Just great. But then it ruins it.
Yeah, I think they definitely did do a good job at introducing Ben Affleck's Batman in BVS. Oh, I don't even know. From what I remember, they did. Because I have not seen that movie since 2017. It's been probably around 4 years since I've seen it. But from what I remember, Batman was really good in that movie, and they did a really good job at bringing him into the universe. But then he just kind of goes around and, like you said, bullies Superman the whole movie. And after, like, everyone, like Alfred, he knows, like, what's up with Lex Luthor. And even after all that, he's still super... His only motivation is just to kill Superman.
Yeah.
And I think that should have been changed a little. Again, I don't know how much the Ultimate Edition changes. From what I've heard, the majority of the scenes added in the Ultimate Edition are Clark Kent investigating Batman. It's kind of like the other way from what I want, but... And I need to check that out.
It's a pretty good movie. They should just get rid of the theatrical edition, make it like not available, so that people can accidentally watch the bad version of the movie.
Do that with Justice League 2017 as well.
Oh my god, they should. Now,
have you seen that?
Oh yeah. The original Justice League. Yes.
I think I've tried to watch it 3 times. And it took me until my 3rd time watching it to get through it.
I finished it in one day. A lot of sugary things were eaten. I fell asleep during one part. I never fall asleep during movies.
Same.
So it was something.
Yeah. I'm also very sad we're not getting a theatrical release for Zack Snyder's Justice League. And Zack has said, in an ultimate world where the pandemic didn't exist, it would be releasing on HBO Max and in IMAX theaters the same day. And that breaks my heart. I really hope he's able to get the movie that he the movie that he's worked so hard to make since 2017. I hope that gets to go on the big screen one day.
Me too.
And the Snyder Cut has been trending all week on Twitter. Whether it's hashtag Zack Snyder's Justice League, hashtag Snyder Cut, hashtag Restore the Snyderverse. I think Warner Brothers, they know what they're doing by releasing this movie. So I hope they are able to see how much people want more from this universe, because the general public seems to think these movies are terrible. But they have a lot of very, very devout fans. So I think we deserve more from this universe, because I do like the direction DC is heading, where it's kind of all standalone movies that take place in the same universe.
Yeah.
But I do think they should do more of that connective tissue, and Zack Snyder is the one who built this universe. You know, he should be the one to continue that. I think we should get a Justice League 2 and 3. I think we should get a Ben Affleck Batman movie or series. Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke, there's a movie in play for that originally. He was supposed to show up in the Suicide Squad, the new one, but he has not gotten to do anything for that character other than appear in the post-credit scene for 2017's Justice League. And that, I think he took place in the reshoots they did for Zack Snyder's Justice League back in, like, October. And he's going to show up in, like, the same scene with Joker.
I don't know. I feel like it has a lot of potential, but isn't like Henry Cavill really mad at them or something like that right now? Like,
Is he?
I saw something about him not promoting the Justice League movie, and like I went to his Instagram and checked his socials, and he has nothing on there about it.
I mean, I don't think that's because he's mad at them. I saw a thing, like, have you heard of We Got This Covered?
Oh, yeah.
They're a website that BS's everything. They put out, like, 2 hours apart, one article saying, Henry Cavill not promoting Justice League because he's upset at Warner Brothers. Then 2 hours later, they post an article saying, Henry Cavill is begging Warner Brothers to make a Man of Steel 2. So
he's probably not mad.
No, I don't think he's mad.
Okay.
I definitely think he doesn't want to be done with Superman, even though they want to be done with his version of the character, which sucks. But
his version could have been so great. Let's be honest.
It could have been. I still think he is one of the best Supermen.
He looks like Superman.
More than anyone else who has taken on the role. Agreed.
Oh, beautiful. And Witcher Season 2 is coming on.
Didn't he, like, break his leg during production of that?
Oh, yeah.
And he had to stop for, like, 6 weeks?
Mm-hmm. Because he does, like, all of his own stunts and stuff on that show. It's awesome.
He is a legend. But, John, other than Justice League, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is also finally coming out. Have you seen, like, all the clips they've been releasing? I'm really excited. Really, really excited. I don't think it'll top WandaVision for me personally, but I definitely think a lot of people are going to be super won over by this show, and it's going to be, like, through the roof in popularity and everything. I really think. Because there's a reason this was supposed to be the first Disney Plus show from Marvel, but then COVID happened and the only shooting they had left to do was in Prague and the Czech Republic, so obviously it took them months and months to actually be able to do that, so they ended up releasing WandaVision first. You know, there was a reason this was supposed to be first, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, and also, these are two characters that we have not seen a lot of, like a lot of character development between either the two of them or like in general, I feel like. So to get them to have their own show together where we get to see them grow and stuff like that, that's amazing. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're introducing like the U.S. agent in this show, which is going to be like the government's attempt at making their own Captain America. So,
I've never heard of those before. That's interesting.
He's kind of like Captain America in Homelander's body. Or no, Homelander in Captain America's body.
Oh, so...
He's like a psycho.
Yeah. And Zemo's making an appearance.
That's what I'm most excited for. I think Zemo is the most compelling character, or villain, to come out of the MCU, other than like Killmonger, maybe. I think he's a super underrated character. And I'm so excited to see him more. Because he's one of the only characters that succeeded in his goal. Yeah. He wanted to tear the Avengers apart. And he did that for 7 years or so. They did not reunite until 2023.
That's insane.
Yeah. He's a genius. And we're finally getting the purple mask, too. Mm-hmm. So... I think he's gonna steal the show for sure.
Yeah, do you think he's gonna like try and toy with Sam and? Yeah, it's gonna.
I think they're gonna be forced to work with him though to take down either like part of the government, or I know they're doing the Flag Smashers in the show, which is like a patriotic like terrorism group or something. So I think they're gonna be forced to teaming up with him, but it's kind of gonna be like, have you seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah.
You know Doug Judy?
Mm-hmm.
You know how him and Jake are always forced to work together, but then he always escapes without fail?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be like that. He's forced to help them, but then right as they're about to bring him in or do something, he's going to escape.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't think he's done. I think they're setting up the Thunderbolts. There's a lot of evidence pointing to that. Do you know like what the Thunderbolts are?
No, I
It's
know it's like the Immortals are.
No,
Not
the
that.
Thunderbolts are essentially Marvel's Suicide Squad. A group of villains who have been captured by the government, who they occasionally send out to take on tasks. There's been a decent amount of evidence pointing to the fact that they're going to set that up soon, and I won't be shocked if Zemo makes the roster.
That's interesting. Who else is part of like the Thunderbolts normally?
I actually don't know. It tends to be a lot of villains, and I don't think they're gonna do the comic book roster. I think they're just gonna pick and choose characters that they want who have been wasted in the movies. Zemo is a member in the comics. Songbird, Hawkeye was a member for a little while. Cyclone, I'm just looking through right now. There's not a ton of characters that have been introduced who are on the team, but I think they're just gonna pick and choose whoever they want to be on it. Oh well, another crucial member to the team is Black Widow, but not Natasha. Instead, the second Black Widow, which is Yelena Belova, and she's being introduced in the Black Widow movie, and Variety has already reported that she's showing up in Hawkeye, and there are even rumors she's going to show up in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So, that. And I think they're going to bring in, they're just going to take villains from the movies who have been, wasted and put them in. Because, Abomination from the Incredible Hulk movie is coming back in She-Hulk, 14 years later. I don't think they'd do that if they didn't have bigger plans for the character. I think they're going to put him on the Thunderbolts. And there's just a ton they could do with that. And also, Red Hulk is on it, which is Ross.
Oh, yeah.
Thaddeus Ross. I think they might eventually do Red Hulk, considering we have a She-Hulk show, and there's a ton of evidence pointing to a Thunderbolts team. But I don't know. I'm impartial to that idea.
Sounds good. Sounds like a good idea. I like it.
Now, do you have any other thoughts on Godzilla King of the Monsters?
No. I hated it. But I didn't want to give it a bad thing because it seems like the actors tried really hard and other things like that. It was just they were given terribleness.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think... you definitely gave the movie a much more positive review than I did. I was not a fan in the slightest. But I am still excited for Godzilla vs. Kong, though I am significantly less excited. But I think this is a bit of a quick episode. Well, we're 30 minutes in on the recording timer, but that's short for us. So, John, do you have anything else to say?
No, not really. I think I'm good.
Alright, well, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at divingdeep_pod to be caught up with all the latest endeavors from the podcast. Here's a little heads up that all of our episodes moving forward will be on YouTube because we ran out of time on the service we use to broadcast the show to other services. They will be back on eventually once the other podcast I host runs out of time as well, so then we can merge the networks and pay significantly less amounts of money to get both shows on as many services as we want. But
Amen.
To continue, again, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at divingdeep_pod. You can find me at Scotty0365, and you can find John at JohnBird351655518. I've been one of your hosts, Scotty. John, what do you got to say?
I'm a human, and I've talked to you.
Alright. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Diving Deep podcast. We'll be back next week to talk about the premiere episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And that's all for now.